Glad I remember that before we did the whole thing.
Okay, so like the average income in rich countries such as the United States, Japan, and Germany is about 10 times the average of income in a poor country such as India and blah blah blah. That's all it really says. It doesn't say like more than, less than, so that's really confusing.
Okay.
So I mean, it's about 10.
Yeah. So it's
I mean,
B or C, right?
yeah. So I mean, I'm okay with either one, but obviously there's only the one right.
Right.
Look it up. Just some of the way it's written. It's like some things are very word for word in the book, and others are very not.
Yeah, this chapter is kind of weird. It's kind of, in a sense, like easier, but also way harder than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like more information.
Yeah, that chapter was long. That was a long read.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that let's go with C's my vote. Let's go 10 times.
All right, let's do it. Which of the following correctly ranks the 3 countries from highest to lowest? Would you say C as well?
Yeah, I got C on that one.
Countries that grew fastest over the last 100 years or so had average growth rates of real income per person of about 3%.
I got.
I don't know. That's a
This one, yeah, I put 2.5 because I've kind of seen the average of the top 3 or 4 on that chart. But
And was
I
that
mean, even
that PowerPoint, right?
well, this was in the book. I mean, and in the PowerPoint too. I think. Let's see, PowerPoint. Oh, the PowerPoint has different numbers.
Oh, that's cool.
So, in the book, it has like Brazil at 2.61% growth rate, Japan 2.59, China 2.53, and Mexico 2.31. See, the PowerPoint has China 7.5, Singapore 4.7. So this is country name.
So you had 2.5, right?
So I would, and this is, yeah, that's just a guess because of the book, but it would be different if it was the PowerPoint. Because it doesn't clearly say. I mean, it doesn't say which countries. Let's say which countries grew the fastest. But it was like has an average. Well, how do you know which ones are the fastest? It's the top 2, top 3.
Yeah, I know. This is kind of gonna suck to memorize for the exam.
Yeah.
Oh, the GDP.
That number doesn't show up.
What slide is it on in the PowerPoint?
In the PowerPoint, it's 5 and 6. I'm looking at the notes, but it doesn't really say that in the notes either.
That's what's weird is because it's the Who grew the fastest?
Also, I wonder if it's like, so 2012 minus, and see, and like here in the equation, it's like 2012 value minus the 1970 value divided by 42. Like, where does 42 come from?
Yeah. So like exactly, I have no idea. And they expect us to use their slides to teach ourselves, so it's really cool. Yeah, where the heck does 42 come from?
Yeah, because I was looking at the book too, and I couldn't find 42 anywhere.
That's nice. Real nice. Okay. Earned income.
And it's just weird because I don't know that it doesn't feel like we have enough information to even make educated guesses. It's like random guessing.
Yeah, for real. That's the production function. That doesn't help us here. Well, I say we just go with what the book had, 2.5. Because that's the best we got. I don't know how to. I don't know where 42 came from. We can come back, Phil, if we have an epiphany or something.
I don't. Yeah, I'll just put 2.5 for now.
Okay, last year GDP in imaginary nation of Oceania was 561 billion, and the population was 22 million or 2.2 million. The year before, the real GDP was 500 billion and population 2 million. What was the growth rate? So I think I did the homework, and how I figured this was you do 561 divided by 2.2, 255. And you do 500 divided by 2, which is 250. So then you do 255 minus 250 divided by 255. Or am I doing that right? Yeah, 255 minus 250 divided by 250. I don't think I did that right. I already forgot how to do it.
That's
Just a second. How did I do it?
So yeah, I think you're on the right track there, right? Because you got to find the individual GDP per person, so you can divide. Five, 6, 1 divided by 255. And the growth rate. Was this one of those says like 255?
Did that wrong. So I think I did the quick. I think I sped through that. So 561 divided by 2.2, 255. 500 divided by 2 is 250. So 255 minus 250 is 5. Okay, I didn't get that the first time. Divided by 250 is 2 times 100, 2%.
2%.
Yeah,
that's what I think that's right.
I just totally did not do that.
No, that's where I was headed. So I think we're good there.
Okay, which of the following would by itself reveal the most about a country's standard of living? I think it's D, the productivity.
It's D, yeah.
The notion that our ability to conserve natural resources is growing more rapidly than their supplies are dwindling is supported by the fact that.
I got C. I think that's right in the book.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree. Okay. And an inexpensive alternative to oil. Oh, my text is really small. If an inexpensive alternative to oil were found, the price of oil adjusted for inflation. Would be B.
I got A.
Would decline as
This is
alternative would be
decline.
demand. Okay, yeah, demand. That makes more sense than supply. Okay. Okay, country A has twice as many workers as country B. Country A also has twice as much physical capital, twice as much human capital, and access to twice as many natural resources as country B. Assuming constant returns to scale, which of the following is higher in country A?
So this is that one weird production function
Okay,
thing, right?
yeah.
So the output doubles on the PowerPoint, but I don't know if it's both a productivity or not a productivity or.
Okay. Oh, but yeah, we don't have like really the number. So, well, I think just from the reading, their output would be more.
Yeah, because let's see on slide.
But how do we know the other efficiency? Maybe they have less workers on.
Right. So yeah. So on the PowerPoint on slide 17.
Oh, details. Okay.
This is like doubling all inputs causes output to double.
So the output would be more because they have double.
I would think so, but yeah, it doesn't tell us anything about country B though. That's what's weird. So, do you know what the constant returns to scale?
No. I can see if I can look up a definition real fast.
Can't remember going over that or back to that.
Okay, so it says the term returns to scale arises in the context of a firm's production function. If output increases by the same proportional change as all inputs change, then there are constant returns to scale. If output increases by less than the proportional change in inputs, then there are decreasing returns to scale. So in this, assuming constant returns to scale.
So it doesn't increase it?
So it means they're proportional change to all units.
So
what does it mean? That's just telling us that they for sure did twice as much as in each input.
right, but it doesn't tell what the output is.
Right.
So but it's, did you say it was equal to that? The input was equal to the output?
In that equation?
In the definition.
So it says if output increases by the same proportional change as all inputs, then there is a constant return. So if it's a constant, that means their output doubled as well.
We don't know if it's
because so what that tells us, so it's like, so I'll read it. So it says if output increases by the same proportional change as all inputs, meaning if it doubles when all the inputs double, then it's a constant return. So we know that the output doubled. So we can assume it's more, I would think.
I would think so too.
But then what I don't know how to find out is the productivity side of it when we don't know much about country B at all. So does that mean if it's constant in terms of scale, does that mean that the productivity also increases?
Well, and I'm a little fuzzy too. So the productivity is different than the output, but I thought the productivity was the output. That's not.
So this the production function. So that's different. Well, on slide 18, this equation shows that productivity or the output per worker depends on that. So productivity is the output per worker on slide 18. That's what.
So one. Yeah, so I think they're tied together. So I think it's either A or D.
Yeah, and then I would think with it being like constant returns to scale, I would vote A.
That would be my guess too, because it's twice as many unless it's one of those weird.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then I think we kind of answered 11 with 10 is which of the following would increase productivity. I think all are correct, right?
It's all of them, yeah.
So if the number of workers in an economy doubled, all their inputs stayed the same, and there were constant returns to scale, productivity would.
Let me get this in there. Let's see.
What does K mean?
K is the physical capital, so that's everything that's not the human capital, the other resources.
Yeah, I gotta go back and learn those.
I have my cheat sheet out.
Where is it on one of these slides or?
That one's on the slide. It's on the slide. Let's scroll. K is 11 or.
So it just goes throughout all of it.
Yeah, so I think 11 says K. It says the stock of equipment, structures used to produce the goods and services is called physical capital.
And human capital is H. K divided by L is capital per worker. Okay, I'm just gonna have to go through this and write it off for the exam. Goodness. Okay. Oh, okay, there we go. On 9. It says a lot. Okay. So in this one, I'm confused.
Oh, this one was just the one doubles, not the rest of them.
Yeah. So this is the number of workers, which would be. Would that be L, quantity of labor, or would that be
For which one?
for, so 12, would that like letter be L, or if the workers increase, would that be L is increasing, or
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's.
human capital?
I think it's.
Human,
I think it's L, right? Human capital is.
oh, human capital is like knowledge, right?
Yeah, that's the education.
And education, training, experience. Okay, so it'd be half the L. So we go with it, and then if everything else stays the same. What would the productivity be?
What do you have? Is it basically like y equals.
Oh, so productivity is Y divided by L. So real GDP, quantity of output produced.
So we're not really gonna have a. Okay, so this isn't gonna be a real number. This is just multiple plus.
So it'd just be quantity of output produced divided by L. So I mean, you can kind of plug in your own numbers there and see what would happen, but one.
So it would. Double.
It would fall, wouldn't it? If L is the denominator and it doubles, it would.
It would fall. That's right, because it'd become a half.
Yeah.
But it would be. So what's
But it won't be greater than one half of its former value.
I guess there's a fall to less than one half.
How would B work? That confuses me.
It'll be greater than one half. Well, it means it's so the fraction would be either smaller than one half or larger than one half, right?
Yeah.
Um, now, would it stay? Would it be okay? So I wonder if it's B, because if you're all the other ones are halves or whatever, I don't know. You're still greater than half because you're only doing like 1/3 or 1/4 of the fraction, so you wouldn't even hit half yet, and that's just a.
Okay, so you want to try B then?
So that's where I'm just yeah, because I'm thinking if you take each portion, so there's like 4 parts, and we're only affecting one part of it, then that's still greater than half,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Another math one. Okay, move on, or use?
Yeah.
Okay. 13. Workland has a population of 10,000, of whom 7,000 8 hours a day to produce 224,000. Final goods, Laborland has a population of 5,000, of whom 3,000 work 7 hours a day to produce 105,000. Productivity and real GDP. All right, so we know the GDP is going to be the $11,000. So the GDP is everyone, not just the workers, right? So it'd be the 10,000 divided by the 224, or the 224 divided by 2,000.
Population.
But like when they're splitting up like the GDP per person, that's not just who's labor, who's not. That's the entire population, right?
I believe so. From the past thing, right? GDP included everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So.
And then I've got 22.4 for Workland and 21 for Laborland for the GDP.
Okay. Sorry, like exited me out of my quiz.
If I did, say if I did that right. And then productivity. So would the productivity just be the how many worked by the total goods? I don't know the hours.
Yeah. So, but why? So I'm so confused. Like, so does productivity just deal with their workers and how much output they did?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, does the hours a day matter?
Yeah. So yeah. So for Workland, that'd be. She does not want to go to bed.
How old?
She turns 2 in December.
Okay.
Goodness. So yeah, so I think what I did in the homework was, so you do 224,000 divided by 7,000 times 8. Which is like their production. Or so 7,000, 56,000. Equals 4. And the other one equals 5. So thus Laborland has higher productivity. Is that what you got too?
Has higher productivity.
Yeah, Laborland or whatever.
I think I got it lower, but I think I did it wrong.
Text that. Quit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Workline has lower productivity,
but a higher GDP.
Yeah.
So that's C.
Yeah. Yeah, because what you figured was GDP 224 and 21. So yeah.
Right.
And then the productivity divide the output by labor input. So okay, cool. Whew, almost there. Other things equal, relatively poor countries tend to grow faster, right? It's called the catch-up effect.
Let's see, yeah.
Okay. If the best educated and most skilled persons leave a country, then in the short term, this country's human capital per worker will decrease.
Yeah.
So D?
I got D, yeah.
Okay. So the U.S. I can't turn this off. Why can't I? Oh, it's so stupid. Messages on the Mac and they don't go away ever. Okay. In the U.S., each additional year of schooling has historically raised a person's wage on average about, isn't it 10%?
Yeah, it's D. I think that's straight from the book.
Okay.
Other things the same. If a country raises its saving rate when its growth of real GDP is per person higher. I've got B for that one.
Yeah, that one's in the book, I think, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose that there are diminishing returns to capital, so the output doesn't match the input or whatever. Suppose also that two countries are the same, except one has more capital per worker, and so it has more real GDP per worker than the other. Finally, suppose that the saving rate in both countries increases from 4%. The next 10 years, we would expect that. Whoa.
Now, I'm guessing I put B because it talks about like countries that start with the lower GDP usually grow faster.
Yeah.
Because of the diminishing returns or something. Right?
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. Which of the following public policies would least likely to result in more rapid economic growth for a poor or developing country?
That one's D.
Inward, yeah. Okay, economics differ in their views of the role of the government in promoting economic growth. At the very least, the government should lend support to the invisible hand. Holy freaking crap. Shut up. Gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'll submit it so we can stop listening to that.
All right.
Okay. I think we did good. Yeah, I got A. I think I got 18 out of 20.
That works.
Okay. I think somehow, I don't know. Yeah, hopefully I didn't get, hopefully you got 19 because I think I clicked when that quiz quit, it like kicked me out. I don't know if I actually clicked the wrong one or not. So maybe you got better.
19. 19.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
All right.
Have a good one.
This is it. Yeah, okay. It's easier with just two of us, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It goes fast. I like it.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Yeah.
All right.